What's going on, guys? In this video I'm going to be giving a recap of the recent RLCS NA Open Qualifier Event 3 and talking about some of the biggest talking points and some of the confirmed results and major spots coming out of this event. Sorry if my voice sounds a bit croaky or a bit off. I'm still a little bit ill, that's why there was no recap video for last week. Still just a little light cold, but still recovering, so if my voice sounds a bit or my energy is a little lower than usual, then that's why. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the recap. Actually, before we get into the recap, if I could ask you to please subscribe. It's free, it takes a little bit out of your day, and it's easy to do, and it would really help me out as well. Also, if you're interested in a little bit of reading, I have made a little blog post thing where I write about some of the events that happened and some of the biggest talking points. So if you're looking for a little bit more of a condensed version of this and don't mind reading, be sure to check it out. Link in the description down below. Alright, let's get to the video. Alright, starting off with round 1 of Swiss, and as you can see, there are a lot of big matchups actually. There are a few matchups that you'd expect to go, some simple ones, for example like G2 3-0 Muffin Men, GenG 3-0 Snowmen, we got TSM 3-1 Boulevard. They're kind of like the ones you'd expect. One of the upsets, last event grand finals, Luminosity losing 3-1 to Dig, as I think I've lost to Dig like the last 4 or 5 times in a row now. Dig just have their matchup. Also Dig themselves scoring back-to-back 0-second goals in that series as well, so that was quite fun. M80 continuing their Swiss dominance in this round, 3-1 in OG. Probably an expected result, but OG were playing a lot better last regional and they were looking to hopefully continue that. Poab continuing where they left off, really surprising us, the split coming out of nowhere really, and NRG just once again, they're a bit of a letdown energy, I'm not gonna lie. Just whenever you think they're gonna get a big result, they can just never follow up on it, and yeah, disappointing round one for them. And finally, Space Station 3-2ing Shopify Rebellion, and Space Station once again proving that they only have lost to G2 and GenG. They really well could be the 3rd best team, and if they can avoid a matchup against one of them 2 teams in the playoffs, I generally do believe that they would have been at the major. And once again, they're proving, beating the teams around them similar in points, but just cannot catch a break with matchups. Yeah, I've zoomed in a bit now as well. Going on to round 2, Space Station, once again, Shock running to G2 in Suez, and Shock lose game 3-1. GenG beating Dig game 5, which honestly credit to Dig for taking GenG to 5. GenG are a very good team, they played very well in this regional as well. And yeah, credit to Dig as well for taking them to 5, they look good. Omelette, which was honestly a really big surprise, 3-0 in the Swiss merchants themselves, Matey. This, honestly, a candidate for upset of the tournament, to be honest, going into this. That just, yeah, I mean, Omelette played really well. We'll talk about them more a little bit later as well. But they played really well. M80, maybe just trying to, every time they go 3-0 in Swiss, they lose in playoffs. Maybe just trying to not go through this time and see what they can do. And TSM, 3-0 in Poab. Once again, honestly, I consider that an upset as well, considering Poab's recent form. And TSM's been a little lackluster. TSM 3-0ing as well. TSM once also had a very good strong event. And honestly, I kind of expected them to be a top 8 consistently team before the split. And they've kind of underperformed the split. But this regional, or this event, it's been nice to see them actually overperform for once and really challenge the big dogs. Onto the lower rounds. Shopify getting reverse swept here by Snowmen. That is really disappointing for them, and yeah, just I feel like Shopify are a team that I see getting reverse swept a lot, which is not a good thing. It's really, I don't know if it's just a mental problem or if they just are a very momentum based team, but yeah, that's just disappointing there. Luminosity throwing Muffin Men, probably something you expect. Dominant scorelines as well, not much to talk about there. Same with OG Young Whippersnappers. OG starting to perform a bit now, good to see, and winning matches that they should. And then NRG getting reverse swept by Boulevard. And I mean, I don't know what to say about NRG, to be honest. It's just, yeah, I mean, I've said what I've always wanted to say about NRG, to be honest. It's just a team that constantly offer disappointments, to be honest. Moving on to round 3, and we got fastly starting off with GenG finally beating G2. Third time's the charm for them, and G2 finally losing a series in their region this split. And I gotta say, GenG deserved it. They played very well. They played very well this whole regional, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, it was game 5, very close series, but GenG finally get over that hurdle. And shout out Fast Killer as well. He played very well this series. Beautiful and really good for GenG. Now on to the other high match, which was Omelette TSM, would you believe it? With TSM 3-0ing and TSM getting the number 1 seed out of Swiss, which is just crazy to think about. I don't think anyone would have predicted that before the split even, let alone before this regional. I mean, crazy work from them. All I can say is fair play to them. They have actually properly shown up. Creams as well, he's such a good player. Had a couple highlight reels this this regional, and once again, yeah, just played so well. Moving on to the mid match, we've got Dignitas versus Snowman, and we have Dignitas winning 3-1 once again. Dignitas just playing well, just winning the matches they're supposed to, and yeah, playing very well. Poab as well, 3-0ing, who were they supposed to, once again showing that they are a force to be reckoned with and not to be taken lightly. Space Station OG, Space Station finally lose to a team that is not G2 and GenG, and it honestly was probably very costly for them that they lost this series. But honestly, shout out OG, they played very well this series, they played very well this entire event, and honestly, to regain from that abysmal Regional 1, you just have to take your hats off to them, man. It's just very well played. And finally, M80 Luminosity. I mean, Luminosity handing M80 back-to-back losses in the Swiss. When one comes, another one follows straight after. And then, in true Luminosity fashion, it's a game 5, overtime as well for good measure. And Luminosity clutch it out in the game 5 OT. And honestly, that is a major boost for their major chances as well. I think they only really needed, well, they needed top 4 to clinch, but a top 8 would mostly clinch them, unless everything went against them. So this is a massive win for them. Moving on to Shopify versus Muffin Men, and this was on what was supposed to be Squishy's last ever series against Justin as well. It had been a very poetic end for them, but in the end it was Squishy eliminating Justin, which was just unreal. And Squishy, I mean, the whole team played very well. They just played with freedom, with like a team with no pressure on them, and just played amazing. And Shopify Rebellion, just firstly to not in Regional 2 not to make the regional, and then to come last in Regional 3, it's just, after getting such a good finish for top 4, it's just sad to see, to be honest. And I hope, I don't know if it's mentality issues or just no ice, but I hope they can figure that out for next split, because they're such a good team, and or they're such like a fun team to watch, and their potential, should I say, is so good. I hope they can figure that out. And then NRG getting a reverse threat for Young Whippersnappers to end quite a torrid first split for them, with trying out so many different players and none of them really working. And yeah, it's just sad to see. But shout out Young Whippersnappers, good win for them. Moving on to round 4, G2. Getting the job done against Pub. Unlucky for Pub to run against G2, to be honest. Yeah, just unlucky for them, to be honest, because I think they could have beaten maybe another team on here, but once again against G2, you'd expect them to get the job done. They have. Omelette beating Luminosity in game 5 was not what I was expecting. Luminosity, like I said, goes to game 5 again. Maybe the pressure for the major, maybe getting on Luminosity a bit, but honestly not a series they should really be losing. But shout out Omelette, they played very, very well this regional, and yeah, we'll get onto them a bit later. And then OG 3-0 in Dignitas, which is Once again for OG, just really good. Dignitas, like I said, were playing well this regional, and they had some good notable results against some big teams. But OG, once again, they're just so good. Just the bounce back from them has been amazing. Moving on to low match round 4. Boulevard 3-1 Snowmen, good result for them. Space Station 3 Young Whippersnappers. Oh, a result you expect from them as well. Then M80 getting the job done against Muffin Men, winning on a 0-second goal. Squishy's career finally coming to an end here, and he scored probably the best final career goal of any RLCS player in history. And what a career for that man. And it's a nice way for him to go out as well, scoring an amazing goal. But M80 just too strong for them, getting the game 5 Buzzbeat to win the game for them. And then moving on to round 5, Luminosity 3-2 Boulevard. That was scary for Luminosity, to be honest. I was watching this series and I was thinking they might lose it, but well done for them to clutch it up. Big game. And yeah, a massive boost to their major chances, because they lost that. I think they could have missed a major, actually. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it would have been very close, to say the least, and that would have been a disaster for them not to make the major. And then Poab, once again, getting quite unlucky with matchups, although there's only really one team that they would have wanted in this round 5. But M80 getting the job done against them in quite a dominant fashion, looking at these scorelines as well. And M80 going 3-2 this time, trying to beat the Swiss Allegations for the first time in the split, and they get honestly quite a favourable matchup against TSM, which they'll be heavy favourites in, despite TSM 3 or number 1 seed 3-0 Swiss. And finally, Space Station beating Dig. Honestly, Dig started it so well, but Space Station once again proving that ever consistent team. But the bad news for Space Station is, once again, for the 3rd time in a row, they sniped GenG, and yeah, I mean, as you can guess, it probably didn't go well. So as you can see, this is the Swiss bracket. TSM number 1, GenG number 2, OG getting number 3 seed, G2 number 4, Omelette number 5, Luminosity number 6, Space Station number 7, and M80 number 8, which gave us some spicy playoff matches, and unfortunately for at least one team, a repeat matchup again. Starting off with OG Luminosity, and as you can see, OG playing very well, getting their revenge on Luminosity for last regional, where they lost 4-1 in the, I think it was 4-1 in the semi-finals. And OG, like I said, like a team reformed, playing so well, so consistent, and a very well deserved win to take the semi-finals and put them in a really good spot for at least a tiebreaker in the major running. Next quarterfinal, GenG Space Station again getting GenG. This time getting, honestly, a GenG team that's the best that they've ever looked. So this was always going to be a hard match for Space Station, and they just couldn't really take it, to be honest. A couple overtimes, but just, yeah, unlucky for Space Station is all I can say. It's a shame, really, because I really think that if it didn't run into GenG this whole time, that they would have been at the major. I generally think that they are probably, consistency-wise, the 3rd best team in the region, but just unfortunate for them. Moving on to G2 Omelette, a matchup that honestly didn't really matter in terms of the major running, but honestly was an absolute banger of a matchup. Most people, including myself, expected this to be 4-0, maybe 4-1. Maybe Omelette believers gave them 2 games, 4-2, but a game 7 overtime with, what's that, 5 overtimes in this series. Absolutely crazy. 5-1-0 games. This was a defensive masterclass for both teams, mainly Omelette, to be honest, because G2 had so much pressure, so many shots, but Omelette just held them out, and there were 2-0 up in game 7 as well. Couldn't close it out though. G2 came back, won it in overtime, and honestly, just fair play to Omelette. A really good showing for them, and all I can say is well played. TSM M80 for the final quarterfinal. M80 how honestly the most favourable matchup to try and get out of Swiss, and once again game 7 overtime again, back to back. First 2 game 7s in North America this split, and 2 come at once again, and just M80 will just never beat the Swiss delegations, to be honest. Honestly, shout out Creamstow for their game 7 overtime goal. 1v3 play. He's been playing so well to this regional, and well deserved for TSM. They were the #1 seed after all, so they deserve it. They've been playing well, and just M80. Once they can find a way to really find some ice in that playoffs and just to win in playoffs, to be honest, they'll be such a threat to North America, and I generally believe they are the team I back the most who get in that conversation with G2 GenG. But moving on to Championship Sunday, starting off with GenG OG. GenG just have OG's number right now. Gnarly cannot quite get revenge on his old team. This is probably the best OG have looked against GenG though, to be fair. 4-2, overtime to close it out for GenG. And honestly, with results going their way, OG didn't really need to win this game as long as G2 beat TSM to make the major. But honestly, once again, like I said, shout out OG to get last in Regional 1 and to come back like they have, and to be honestly to make the major like they have was just incredible from them, absolutely incredible. Moving on to the other semi-final, G2 TSM. I think, yeah, I mean G2 4-0'd them, but honestly, TSM had quite a few leads in this series. They just couldn't quite hold on to them really, like, from longer than 30 seconds it seemed like. And G2 found their scoring form here after not being able to really break through the omelette defense. They found their scoring form here and they played extremely well, and just a very dominant, clean series there for G2. Nothing more to say from that. This actually as well clinched OG the major as well, so G2 clinching JNAP's major. That's a nice story as well. And then the finals, G2 GenG. GenG finally getting their regional win, like we expected them to do in before the split, and finally taking it to G2 really. And honestly, three overtimes were kind of, I wouldn't say dominated, because it was a very close series. G2, if they took their opportunities a bit more, could have made this a much closer series. But all credit to GenG. They played extremely well, denied G2 3-peat, first killer for the second time now, denying G2's 3-peat for a split. And yeah, all I can say is credit to GenG, and maybe not a one-team region anymore. And it's honestly good to see. Well played for GenG. And that's it for my NA Open Qualifier Event 3 recap, with the major teams now being G2, GenG, Luminosity and OG. I think that NA are sending some strong teams. I'm not entirely sure how well OG and Luminosity will do at the major, to be honest. I think they can cause problems, but I don't really know if they can really win the major. I think the biggest bonus for NA is now GenG are really performing, and that's, like I said, a really good time to start performing and try coming right into the major. And honestly, it will do G2 a lot of good to have their mistakes exposed. I think I saw Johnny Boy made a tweet on that as well, and I agree that the best time now for G2, or the best thing for G2, is to lose in this fashion as well, because it exposes their mistakes and gives them a clear idea on what to work on for the major. Alright, that is it for my recap. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. If you could please like, give me a comment, give me some feedback. I will always listen to your feedback for what you want me to include or what you think I could do better. And please, like I said before, subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. It's free, it's easy, and it really helps me out, like I said. Alright, that's it from now. Oh, one more thing as well. Like I said before, if you're interested in just reading and getting like a condensed version of this, please check out the link down below for my article, or my little blog thing, whatever you call it. I really enjoy writing as well, so I'd really appreciate any feedback on that as well. Alright, that's it from me today. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope to see you in my next video. Goodbye.